Hey, I'm Kelby from the Cadillac 3. We are at Claire Brothers Audio, and this is my rig rundown. So we'll start off with explaining how I started off getting the sound that I'm getting through a lap steel guitar. At the beginning of this process, we were trying to figure out a way to alleviate having a bass player in the band, and we started off by splitting the signal and plugging into a bass pedal, bass octave pedal, and a couple of volume pedals, and it just kind of grew from there. So we start here with this AB box, and it splits the signal, so the input from the guitar from the lap steel goes straight into this input, and then we split off from here. So the one side goes from the AB box to this volume pedal, which controls the guitar amp. Then this goes into a distortion pedal. I've got my Amplifier here that I use from time to time. I'll switch it out here and there just for space reasons. Sometimes we'll use a Timmy, sometimes we'll use some other pedals, but I've got the Amplifier on here now that it's my buddy Paul Allen. Crank this bad boy out and it sounds awesome. And then go through just a little bit of a slapback delay and out right here into the guitar amp. And so this is the guitar side. So the other side that we're working with comes out of the other output into this volume pedal on my right foot, and then that goes directly into this nano pog, which is the basis of where the bass sound is coming from. I just crank all the sub all the way up, turn the high octave and the dry all the way down. That goes to this MXR 10-band EQ, which basically I just cut everything from 1K down or from 2K down, just eliminate it to try to get rid of some of the high ring from the high strings. And then it has the zigzag just for the space reasons over to my MXR bass DI. It's basically just gives it a little bit of a preamp boost if I need to. It's got a little EQ, bass mid high coming out into the bass amp. So I've got my Dunlop volume pedals and MXRs, the Electro Harmonics Nano Pog, and this is my Powertrain 1250, which we do a lot of shows overseas, and they use the different the 240 voltage instead of the 115 or 120. So it's got a fuse in there where we split it so I can use it in the UK and Europe. And then the tuner, this is my secret weapon. I come straight out of the tuner output on the AB box and leave it on all the time, so even when the volume pedals are in the up position, I can still tune, or I can see with the steel where I'm at. So that's my secret weapon. So there you go. There's the zigzag of the pedalboard situation. Next, we're going to talk about the lap steel guitars that I use on stage, from my McLean's custom built guitars to my Gretches. This is my main guitar that I use on stage most of the time. It's my white McLean Moneymaker lap steel, first one that my buddy Paul Smoke has ever made. Did a great job with the very first lap steel that he had ever made before. It's in an open D tuning. I use it primarily, I'd say probably 3/4 of the set. It's I play it on the South and some of our bigger fan favorite songs. He put a little Cadillac 3 logo right there. I've got some thick Dunlop strings that I use on it. This low D, low to high, it's D-A-D, F sharp A-D. And this low string is a 68 gauge and the high string's a 17. So we got some thick strings happening here that contribute to the sustain and just like the meaty sound that I get out of this thing. Yeah, it just has a great sound, and got the cool $50 right there, and yeah, this is my McLean number one. Moving on to my next lap steel that I use on stage quite a bit. This is the second version of the McLean Moneymaker lap steel that Paul Smoke made, and he painted this one black instead of the white one so I could tell what was what in my drunkenness on stage from time to time. This one is tuned slightly different. It's in an open F power chord tuning that I kind of just made up. It's low to high. We've got FCC, FCF, and this low string is a 53 gauge, and the high string is a 13, I believe, maybe a 15. Actually, it's a 15. Similar sound that I get out of the other one, and yeah, this is my my other main one that I use on stage. It's got a cool relic beat upness to it, and yeah, it's just a great construction, and he builds great guitars over there at McLean, so check him out, McLeanGuitars.com. Moving on to my next lap steel that I use from time to time on stage is a Gretch Electromatic Black Sparkle guitar. It's pretty much all stock. I've kind of ripped off the volume and tone knobs, get a little bit more play in there. The bridge, there's a bridge cover that comes on these that I remove so I can get in there and get a good palm mute. That's where a lot of my sound comes from. Same strings, same Dunlop custom strings that are on the white McLean. This one's an open D, 68 to 17, and this was the first lap steel that I got when I was learning how to play for the band. When our old band, I was the bass player, and we were trying to come up with something new and different. So I bought a lap steel, and this was the first one that I got. It's all stock, and it's good value for the money. This is my Sunburst Gretch lap steel that I keep on stage. It's in the same tuning as the black McLean. It's in the F power chord tuning, FCC, FCF. And I got this shortly after I got the Black Sparkle Gretch when I was first starting to play, when we started doing the three-piece, and I needed to come up with a different tuning than the open D. So I use this on any of the songs that are in F or G. I can play on the second fret as my root, and the songs that are in G, like White Lightning. Our song Tennessee Mojo is open. Jared Capo's on the third fret, so we play that in F. And it's all stock, and it's all beat up. You can see where the tone knob used to be. Same situation as the last one. A little crack in there, but still works. I like to sometimes slam the slide right here. There's a little bit of scratches, you know. I took the bridge cover off, so I can get the palm muting, right in here. And yeah, they sound great. Moving along to Amp World, I've got my big orange stack over here, my bass side and my guitar side. The first few years that we were doing the three-piece, we got into a lot of backlight situations, and we had Marshalls and Oranges and Trace Elliott's and Buddhas and lots of stuff, and every time we would get an orange rig, I always just loved the sound. I love how simple it was. A lot of the amps just have 4 or 5 knobs, and they do what they're supposed to do. I've got four 412 cabinets. I'll start with the bass side. These cabinets right here, they're actually guitar cabinets, but they have bass speakers in them that the guys at Orange custom made for me to fit on our stage carts for the stage. And I'm running a 8200 watt bass MK3 head. As far as my controls over here, I kind of keep it a little bit low for the stage volume because it'll just get way too loud if we just crank it all the way up. So I'm at my master volume's at about 10 o'clock. We've got the treble and mid knobs completely scooped out, and the bass is at about 10 o'clock, and the gain's at about 10 o'clock. So you don't get too crazy with it because we got to blend it with the guitar side. So the front coming from the pedal board. If you remember, the A and the B side split through both the volume pedals through the micropod or the nanopod that's on there. When we first kind of put the pedal board together, we had a rack unit crossover that we used to have to plug in that got just too cumbersome. So that's where the EQ pedal came in, where the MXR came in, where we just decided to scoop the highs, and they still come through a little bit through the bass side, but it really muffles it so we can focus on having the mids and the highs come out of the guitar side over here, which is what we've got going on. So on our guitar side over here, we're running through an AD30. Sounds great. It's got great overdrive by itself. The overdrive pedals that I use on the board, I use sparingly. Most of my distortion comes from the head itself. These are just the stock 412 cabinets that I'm running it through. I'm using the less hot channel, just the first channel, and similar to this, I've got it basically everything's at about 10 o'clock, except for my gain is cranked up to about 2. and it's so splitting the signal like that, all the bassy notes, like I said, the treble and the mids are completely scooped over here, and over here we've got a lot of the higher gains, so it creates a good balance. And with the volume pedals, I can kind of weave them in and out, which I will show you here in a second. So here's my Monster Orange rig. So the last part of my rig that we didn't touch on are my picks and slides that I use. All Dunlop picks and slides. We've got the white Dunlop medium thumb picks. For finger picks, I use the Dunlop .0225s. I like these because they're not too firm, but they're not too loose. Some guys like them more the other way, but I think they're a good Goldilocks zone right in the middle. So use those two guys. And this is the 925 steel. It's kind of like a reminiscent of a Stevens steel, but this is Dunlop's version. It's just steels. I've gone through a lot of them, and I've decided that it's just kind of a preference thing. I've talked to other steel guitar players, and it's just what feels good. It just fits good, in my hand here, and it's just what I've gotten accustomed to. So there you go, rock and roll, country style.